This week we're going to be learning about evolution. So you're going to be watching 2Ed puzzles and answering questions, but first I'm going to show you your notes. So if you want to copy these, you can. I'm also going to have a copy of these on Google Classroom. But evolution is a change in a species that occurs gradually over time in some life forms over millions of years. And evolution explains the diversity in life forms that we see today. And the new inherited traits makes a species better adapted to its surroundings. And another point of evolution is that evolution of a species is caused by genetic variations. So I'm going to use my little book here as part of this. And one of the big things is Charles Darwin and natural selection. So Charles Darwin developed one of the most important theories of evolution, and that was based on a theory called natural selection. So his theory, if we look here, his theory of natural selection describes how a species changed over time. And it was a concept called survival of the fittest. And this, the key to this was that the trait that gives an organism a survival advantage is passed on to its offspring when it reproduces. So it should really be thought of as survival and reproduction of the fittest. So when a species isn't fit for its environment, it either becomes either because of the environment has changed or because outside competition for survival has increased, the species might become extinct. So extinction when all members of a species die, of course. So some main points of Charles Darwin's natural selection. Some main points of that natural selection are this: that for natural selection, individuals of the same species have different traits. Organisms compete with one another for survival. The individuals with traits that help them survive reproduce more successfully. These successful individuals pass their helpful traits down to their offspring. In time, individuals with helpful variation may become a separate species as their numbers grow, or if they become isolated from the original population. So, how are new species formed? So we're going to tell you how are new species formed in your notes. So here we have, we just talked about natural selection. So natural selection is when favorable variations in organisms are better able to adapt and survive. That we have a new species is formed. Another way a new species is formed is by selective breeding. Selective breeding, we choose plants and animals with desirable traits to reproduce. We have, I think you guys, you've gone to a store. I love those grapes that are cotton candy grapes. So that would be selective breeding, taking something, a flavor of one type and blending it with a certain fruit, or blending two fruits together to make another fruit. And genetic engineering involves changing genes of cells. So those are new ways new species are formed. Also, part of evolution, we have organisms have evolved from unicellular to multicellular. Remember, we learned unicellular means one to multicellular, many. And do we have evidence? Yes, there's evidence of evolution, and that's been found in fossils in sedimentary rocks. We also have evidence, and you'll see when you watch the Edpuzzle, in humans, such as our wisdom teeth and the appendix. These were once functional structures that we now have no use for them in our body. So this week you'll be watching the Edpuzzle and answering those two questions, or answering the questions on those two, and these notes will be in the classroom for you to use if you need. And have a great week.